over acquiescing? Are we acquiescing to rules that do not exist, to the things that were not asked for? Are we overdoing it? I'm also, look at the, when someone says you can't do that way anymore, please stop and think. We used to do it this way all the time. We should ask, why can we not do it this way anymore? The second thing I want to point out is that crisis, which is where we are right now, gives people a hall pass to unethical and immoral actions. We are in crisis, I don't deny it. But keep to your values. You know what they are. You know what's right. And finally, the third thing. All student organizations, all students should be treated the same way. One organization, one student should not be treated differently because their identity might be controversial, because their organization might be controversial. Just because it's an LGBT group or a diverse group, it's no different than the English Honor Society. It needs to be treated the same way. Please keep that in mind and don't distinguish one from the other. Don't let these words, these identities that have been declared different and to be treated differently, They're not. All our students have a right to be here. All our students have a right to be represented. And all our student organizations, I hope, will be treated the same way. Anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Maria Gonzalez, Department of English. I have the original M. Gonzalez, EZ, at uh.edu. I'll be happy to talk to anybody. Let me know. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to public comment?
Yes.
Joe? There he goes.
Can you hear me?
It's just for recording purposes.
Just for recording purposes?
You'll be good.
All right. So, first of all, I want to say thank you, everybody that's here. I think that it takes some amount of care to want to be in this room to begin with. I think it takes some type of dedication to be standing here or sitting here in this room. Whether you're with me and alongside me protesting for the rights that I'm advocating for here, or you are somebody that I can hopefully negotiate with. Regardless, I'm thankful for you. The reason I stand here is because our student body feels neglected. Our student body feels like it is not heard. Protests are the voice of the unheard. I don't know if y'all could hear us out there, but we were protesting. And that doesn't happen for no reason, and it doesn't happen overnight either. There is a number of things that are super concerning about our university's governance, especially around shared governance. In 2023, there were 2 suicides that happened on our campus. I wasn't here to see that, but many of you were. Our Student Fees Advisory Committee made a recommendation for a reallocation from our athletics department to mental health. This was a situation that required extreme measures to comfort and to make sure that our students were protected from a very real mental health crisis. Instead of seeing that reallocation happen through our Student Fees Advisory Committee, we saw it denied. Whenever we asked for an external review of our athletics department and the expenditures that they're allowed to make on our dime, we were also denied. When I asked for more transparency alongside the student body again and again, we have been denied. The student-involved working group that was created over the summer could not possibly represent us here, nor legally or democratically. The student-involved working group was placed together, from my knowledge and from the public information that y'all have chosen to send out. It was an unelected body. It was handpicked from people that UH admin thought were leaders. Now, I'm not here to debate who's a leader and who's not. I'm here simply to state that that is not democracy and that is not shared governance. There could have been an election. There could have been an election this fall. There could have been all of the things that we needed from our UH admin to do this fall. And again, we were denied. Now, Dr. Kittle's office, according to an email that we got from his office, understands that there should have been elections for our Student Fees Advisory Committee. They understand that there were certain stipulations that they had to meet in order for our SFAC to be legal. Our Student Fees Advisory Committee is mandated to have elections in the absence of an SGA to fill vacancies that are expired, 3 of which were expired. And so what that means today is that regardless of what the illegal appointments intent are, regardless of what kind of people they are, they cannot legally represent us on our Student Fees Advisory Committee, according to state law. Now, I don't know, and I ask to the room, where the authority was granted to Dr. Kittle or to Renew Couture, where this authority they got was granted from, to go and hold a student-involved working group without the consent and without the advice of the entire student body. And I'm still puzzled. The article that I wrote in the Cougar displays what should have happened, and it displays what instead happened. And we have to understand that students at the University of Houston deserve better from our UH admin. We deserve transparency. I recognize many of the faces that are in this room, despite the fact that I haven't met y'all. There are students that are struggling to pay for food, parking, struggling to pay for dorms on campus. And instead of giving us the representation and the transparency that we require legally and that we desire democratically, y'all have again and again rejected it. Why? Why does it have to be this way? It doesn't. It doesn't have to be this way. Imagine what kind of university we could have if we could work together. Imagine what transparency would do for our university. Now, I come here speaking of a better tomorrow. I come here speaking about what it would mean for us to have transparency. But the first way that we will have any kind of transparency is by calling for the resigning of the 3 illegal appointments and a redoing of the entire process that brought this SFAC together in this presentation. There is no way that we can continue with 3 illegal appointments here and think that we're going to have a better future for our student governance and for our shared governance within the University of Houston system. There's no way. By doing this today, you are setting precedents. And I say this especially to the illegally appointed students. You are setting precedents that UH admin, whenever they want to sound an emergency or they want to say that there is a crisis within our SGA, the fact that you are sitting in the seats that you are provides precedent for future administrations to go ahead and do the exact same thing. Shut down and dissolve our student government, and then illegally appoint the majority of our student representation on our Student Fees Advisory Committee. It is unacceptable. Let me see a show of hands of how many people have read thoroughly Section B of the code that establishes our SFAC. Can I get a raise of hands, please?
We want to make sure we stay on track. This section is for 10 minutes, and it's going past 10 minutes. We'll give you a couple more minutes, and then we'll have to wrap. Get
Cool.
to our next presentations.
Sounds good. Can I get a show of hands?
It's thoroughly read. It's sent out to the group, so.
Okay.
We all got it.
What happened? What happened? Because it was my interpretation that maybe it hadn't been read. I was trying to assume, some good faith effort was made and, something happened. If y'all read the entire document, how did this happen? Does anybody know how this happened? Why am I standing here in front of you today?
I believe that this is like a broader issue in society between like accessibility, between like an institution trying to provide the services and then the students that are like the main audience that are supposed to get these services, but there seems to be like a gap between that. Like, admin wants to provide these resources for students, but students don't show up because there's so many barriers. And so I feel like, with this matter, maybe like, I can't speak for admin, but the units need their funding to continue to provide our resources. And I think you are like raising concern because this is like not just isolated event, it's happening all across the US and the world and our campus, representation is being, and we can't say things anymore because it makes certain people uncomfortable. But I think we can take this opportunity to move forward and to see how we can work better together as admin, providing more transparency, but also it requires for students to show up, and you guys are here. But, it's not all 47,000 students. And so I feel like the most practical way was to bring together students that are involved. And I don't know what the process was because I was here last year. And I went through SGA, I applied, I got interviewed by Diego because he was the current president and the other student leaders. I applied, I read up on the committee because this is a really big responsibility. And I see that, I've expressed it to the whole committee, what a responsibility I feel as the chair. I'm also like a first generation student struggling to pay for, that's why I'm, and all of these students that are on the committee have also been addressing their concerns, providing their perspective. But I do think that we need to figure out how can we engage with our whole student body, how can we get people to show up and utilize the resources that we have on campus that our money's going into, that their money's going into. And this is just something I'm passionate about, just overall, like accessibility. And I feel like, this could be an opportunity for us to become a better community. But
I agree.
that's just my point of view.
All right, because we're 10 minutes past now, so we need to get back on schedule. I'll say one thing, but this is not the forum to answer questions. We can have that later. But the university has thoroughly read the code, and several of us probably have read it more than most. We also have a legal counsel on campus, and we have everything vetted by the legal counsel. So again, I want the narrative that the university is not informed about what the code says and hasn't checked every single aspect of the code. I want to make sure you all are aware that that has been done. Again, this is opportunity for you to voice the concerns. I think your concerns were voiced and heard. So again, the committee has heard that, and then if there's communication or you want to address more things, that's a different form that we can do later. But again, I do want to move this along because we have several presentations we have to get through.
Okay. Can those further questions be public?
Yeah, it's a public institution, so.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And then also, I just want to say, so my name is Mohammed Samir Tabato. I'm the vice chair here at SFAC. I really appreciate y'all coming out because these are actual student concerns that you're voicing here, right? It's not like y'all's problems are with the students here. Instead, your problems are with the precedent that this sets, right? When it comes to representation, when it comes to transparency, when it comes to issues like this. So I think the fact that y'all show up means that there is a valuable effort here, and there is a forum that shows that students care. So I feel like that's very important, especially for like structuring your needs. It's also an understanding that the people that are appointed now here, these students are here as student representatives. they applied through a process that the university said that they could apply to, and they made sure that their qualifications were met in order to be here and sitting on this committee. So please make sure that in all your efforts, not that you haven't done it, but just in case, make sure you're not vilifying the student leaders that are here, because now that they are here, y'all's issues are with the interpretation of legal code, right? There's still a job that needs to be done, and I want to assure you that all the student members and the faculty members on this committee are making sure that your money is being put where it's supposed to be put, and also that there is a voting majority of student members here on this board right now. So although it can set a precedent, just know that for this session specifically, we're making sure that y'all needs are met, and we really appreciate y'all making your voices heard.
Hello, everyone. My name is Juan Gonzalez Diaz. I am one of the student representatives for SFAC, and I want to hear y'all's concerns regarding the budget needs for this upcoming fiscal year.
We can't do that now, we gotta
Well,
move on.
For the final recommendations.
Yeah, they can send some communication,
send it,
they can
yeah.
send it to the committee, but we have to move on. I mean, so like, there's things, if there's a list of things that you all wanna share, make sure, I'll take those directly, make sure the group gets it, but we do need to move on.
Got it.
We'll make sure there's a public forum for it.
Give you the mic.
Yeah, just hand it back there. We really appreciate you.
All right, thank you all.